Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for Real Housewives of Potomac, the reunion part 3. And what a dramatic and tiring episode it was, you guys. I'm so glad this shit is over. Even though I will say that I did enjoy the season. I thought that they entertained us properly. But yeah, I'm over it. Okay, thank God we get a month before Real Housewives of Atlanta comes, and their antics, you can already tell from the trailer, it's gonna be a whole lot. And that's probably just the first like 8 episodes. That drama, you know how they just release a little bit at a time. Anyway, you guys, yeah, we I didn't get to see anything last night. I didn't watch Real Housewives of Potomac or Power until today. It was a busy weekend. Jada just popped up in Atlanta unexpectedly. I'm getting something to eat at Panda, and she just shows up in the parking lot when I come out. You know, she kept on texting me like, where are you? What are you doing? What are you know? So anyway, she had her friend drop her off at the parking lot where my car was. So it was a nice surprise. And then she threw off my weekend though. So the shit that I was gonna do on Saturday with Mister, I had to push to Sunday because I was gonna go shopping with her and everything. So we went shopping, and then Sunday I went to the movies and saw Hustler, which was a really good movie. Jennifer Lopez actually did a very good job. I think this is probably the best acting I've seen this girl ever do. And then had to walk blue, and then when I got home, I'm just telling you guys all this so you'll know exactly what's happening. I had to film 2 videos for my planner channel. So I promise you guys a video for the planner channel is coming today. I got up at 5 o'clock this morning and edited it. And now I just have to do the voiceover for those videos, and I'll post one today, maybe one, you know, the next day or in 2 days or something. I gotta do it today. Anyway, we gonna get them posted. But in the meantime, that's why everything has just shifted. So then I just realized I left my plug for my laptop at home. So either I'm gonna, yeah, I think I'm probably gonna edit Power on my phone, unless I'll see if I have enough juice. Anyway, y'all don't need to know all of that, but I just wanted to share with y'all, since sometimes I just jump right on into it. But like I said, this episode was so exhausting, you guys. So exhausting. Okay, the men are on the stage now, the husbands, and we just kind of go through everybody. You know how you try to loosen them up. You know, we talk about Karen controlling Uncle Jessup's tongue. You just wrap your tongue around his and you just take control. It's hard to explain, but you have to suck it. I don't want to see anybody sucking Uncle Jessup's tongue. Who is the biggest freak there? Well, Ashley, of course. And Michael says, well, you guys all must be boring because she's just average. Candace, okay, we talk to her about her husband being a quick fuck. You know, she says that they having a decent, enjoyable time. Somebody said that's like hanging out with your grandparents. Monique and Chris, always team telling too much, you know, talk about their role playing, you know, putting on the wig, and I guess Monique having sex with Miss Shirley. I'm sure they didn't mean for it to come out that way, but I was just like, okay. Juan and Robin said that they wouldn't have a threesome with Katie. At least Juan said he wouldn't have a threesome with her, okay, but he'd like to keep it, you know, likes to keep it exciting. Robin tells us that you guys are probably going to get married within 1.5 years, and he says, oh really? Wow. Okay. Then he realized that that was the wrong answer, and then he said, yeah, no, actually, you know, they talk about it all the time. You know, they're in a good place. I'm actually happy for Robin and Juan. This is the first season I actually believe that these two might for real be in a real place, in a good place. And I think that next season is probably going to concentrate on, you know, them getting engaged and all of that. So good for them. Uncle Jessup, how are your tax problems? They are behind him. And even though they're back in Potomac because it's closer to his office, does he still want to move to Florida? Yep, he sure does. Now, let's move on to the reason why we all want to sit here and watch this shit, okay? The butt grab that was heard around the world. And I tell you, this is why I said it was so exhausting, because it is sort of like Michael is trying to rewrite history. I'm just sitting there listening to this whole story. I mean, it took so many strange and weird turns. None of it really made sense. But we'll go through it real fast, you guys. First of all, I was cracking up that he called himself chastising the girls for, you know, being so horrible to him. I was like, you and Ashley cut a fucking fool, the worst last season, okay? Acted up on that damn reunion, and you got the nerve to sit here and say that the girls shouldn't have treated you, that they were bad for the way that they did. Are you serious? What the fuck is wrong with Michael? We go through this unseen footage again, okay? They finally clarify, which Monique actually did right after that episode aired. But anyway, they clarify that second butt grab situation that we heard was actually Hank, which is Monique's cousin. And I didn't understand see, the thing is, they won't let you hear all of the audio to know what led up. Like, why was Hank and Michael talking about grabbing asses in the first place? Like, it made no sense. I feel like they still chopped off just enough for us to hear one little section and for it to not make sense to us. I was just like, is Hank gay? Or, you know, because why would he be having a conversation about grabbing butts with Michael anyway? I mean, do they talk about that thing? And that's what Monique had said. She had even asked Hank, you know, is that something that you guys normally talk about? Michael said, you know, that they have joked about it, I guess, in the past, but Hank said not that he can think of. But you know what? Hank was fucked up at this rainbow baby party. And, you know, it just was not making sense to me. What was funny, though, was when Michael was trying to say that, you know, it wasn't a grab. It was just he bumped into him. It was a tap, you know, on accident. You guys are making a big thing out of it because, you know, men do it all the time. You see it on sports and everything. And Monique was like, yeah, after you score a touchdown, like, rah, rah, you know, good job. We don't just go around grabbing asses. But, you know, I guess Michael ain't, you know, he ain't gonna split the hair on that one. But, you know, one of the viewers had wrote in that Michael, when in the audio, when the guy said don't do that, okay, Michael said okay, and kind of laughed at first. See, this is how you, in your mind, you picture it like this. Michael grabs the producer, the cameraman's ass and laughs. Then the cameraman said, hey, don't do that. And he says, don't do that, twice. And then Michael says, okay, all right. A normal response, like Chris said, Candace's Chris, when you bump into somebody, normally you would say, excuse me, or sorry. You wouldn't say, okay, because it wasn't on purpose, you know? So Chris starts arguing with Michael about it because Michael is just like, I can't get into the head of somebody else's, why they would say what they say. We're not talking about what he said, because the man said very clearly, don't do that. Okay, you are the one that we are questioning. In your head, you didn't say excuse me or sorry, oh hey, I didn't mean to do that, that was an accident. You just said okay. So that does sound like you knew that you was doing something, you thought you was getting away with it, and you didn't. The cameraman called you on it, and Chris made it very clear. I said, okay, that score one for Candace and Chris. Okay, Chris also drops a bomb that same cameraman said that his ass had been grabbed in some club or something, L2 or something. I don't know what that was, but you know, the funny thing is Andy just was sitting there as if Andy is not one of the producers. Okay, Andy's just sort of sitting around looking like going back and forth and just listening to the two. It's the strangest thing to see this happening because the show has been so litigation. They avoid this kind of talk usually. So it's strange that they going head first into this whole situation with Michael and Ashley. I know they made it a storyline, but you see what I'm saying? It's still weird to me. And so the whole time I was watching, I was just like, this is just strange. Okay, we get into the whole Andrew butt grabbing situation. Well, that time Michael said it was just, you know, playful, you know, and nobody even saw it. It wasn't even that big of a deal. But Giselle said she did see it, and he said you didn't even see it. You were too far away. What's so funny to me is how Michael can tell everybody there, because it's sort of like a Jedi mind trick. Like, you didn't see it. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Maybe I didn't. Okay, it's like he gonna keep on telling everybody what they didn't see, what they didn't hear, what they didn't notice, what they, you know, but whatever he says is completely the truth. But everybody else is like, you know, I don't care what you think, I don't care what you say, I don't care about. Okay, he tells Giselle that she didn't see it, she was too far away, and she said, I did see it, and I did say to you, don't do that. Okay, and he says, and why? She said, what do you mean why? Because the fucking cameras are rolling and you grabbing some man's ass. I mean, how? You guys, so Michael really was just like, I'm just gonna play stupid, and I'm gonna just keep on saying I didn't do something, and we just gonna roll with that, I guess. Robin was just like, how can you be mad at us, for kind of believing it when, there's always been sort of some talk about, is this blowing, the air blowing in the, let me see, I'm sorry, you guys. There's always been some talk about him grabbing asses, okay? Speaking of Robin, let's talk about this dick sucking comment. First of all, they made it very clear the very first episode that everybody was fucked up, okay? They made it very clear that Robin was drunk, Candace was drunk, everybody was drunk. It was after the cameras was rolling. They all just hung out and had a good time, all right? I don't know why Michael was trying to make it seem like we didn't already know that. Okay, and he says there's no way that you could have heard me say that, even though you guys must remember back when that episode aired, he said, remember, they let us hear him saying like, oh, was the mic on me because I probably said some things that I shouldn't have said. Okay, and I guess that could mean anything, but when you start putting all this together, it's just like, well, what did you say that you were so concerned about? But anyway, he tells Robin that she couldn't remember that, and she says, I would never make that up. And I'm thinking to myself, the reason why she probably was able to register and remember that is because you were talking about her man. That's her man. So when she hears one, she knows that clicks in her brain. I don't give a fuck how fucked up you are. You kind of remember some of those things, so he's telling her she didn't remember it, but of course the story has no merit because there were other people there that heard it. Okay, that's when him and Candace and Chris got into it again, because he's saying that they didn't hear, he doesn't care to talk to Candace, he doesn't really like to talk to Candace. He didn't even come close to her, but people heard it. Okay, so he's trying to tell him, you couldn't have heard it because the music was playing and all. Did he once say that he didn't say it, or did he just keep telling everybody that they didn't hear it? Candace, while he's sitting there talking to you, he said he should sue you for press charges for pulling a knife on his wife, and she said that she was trespassing. Everybody started laughing like, girl, you so fucking silly. No, dumbass, she was not trespassing. She was brought there on the show. But I understand what Candace was saying. That don't mean that you're supposed to pull a knife on somebody, but I never thought that Candace was going to try to use it on her. But I guess you could still argue that the threat was there. So it's more and more Michael saying, I don't care about what you say. I don't care what you think about me, Karen. I don't care about you, Chris. I'm not going to talk to you, Chris. If you're going to be cussing to me, why are you talking to me like, okay, I know my accent was changing up on, but y'all see what I'm saying, right? Then we get on this whole subject of him apologizing to Ashley. Now, I clearly understood what Michael was saying, because when you haven't done anything, then what the fuck am I apologizing for? Okay, in Michael's eyes, I did not put Ashley through anything. The cameraman, who supposedly is lying, according to Michael, is the one who put her through that by lying and saying that I did something that I did not do. Okay, so that's how Michael sees it, and that does make sense to me. Okay, but the girls all feel like he should apologize for putting her in that whole predicament in the first place. All right. And of course, they feel that way because even though they don't know 100% for sure if it happened or not, they are going by past experiences. Other producers saying that he's grabbed their asses, and nobody has thought to press charges or try. And then that's the other thing that's not clear. What the fuck was it? Was it a charge that was pressed? Did somebody just say something? Did it go to court? Was there a judge? Was it a mediator? Was it just Andy sitting at the table talking to him at the Bravo meeting? Like, what was it? So much stuff started to not make sense the more that they talked. And I was just like, okay. So Giselle is saying that he should apologize. Karen, this would be a perfect opportunity, Michael, for you to, because Ashley stood by you without any questions asked, so you should apologize. He was like, I know you don't think that you're about to coerce me into apologizing for something that I didn't do. It's not happening. So they're arguing about that. And it's just a whole bunch of chatter going back and forth. Juan's sitting back there, and I'm with Juan. Juan was like, excuse me, I got to go to the bathroom. All this shit So then he get up and go. I said, Juan, if I was you, I'd take a long languishing pee. Okay, I'd be just sat on that toilet and pulled out my phone, went to IG, went to Twitter, scrolled on down, checked my emails. Ain't nobody feel like sitting up there with that shit, because Michael is never going to admit that the motherfucker has a proclivity to grabbing motherfuckers' asses. Okay, he does it, whether or not he's just playing or if he's sexually harassing somebody. That's another story in his eyes, because like Andy said, any contact that you give to somebody, especially in a part that's deemed sort of like a sexual, it'd be different if you touch somebody's shoulder. You touching somebody's ass, that's like you are sexually harassing them technically. Okay, even if you were just joking around, whatever. So we argue about that. Then Andy tries to get control of it. And he says, well, does anybody have any regrets about how they handled this whole situation with Michael and Ashley? Candace says, well, she does regret not just reaching out to Ashley from the very beginning and just asking if she was okay. Karen mentions that she was, she was grieving, and it wasn't, she was just in this bubble. It wasn't like she was really trying to avoid Ashley. That's not where her head was at anyway. Robin was just like, well, Ashley, when Giselle called you and you were out with Katie, you acted like everything was fine. Oh no, it's nothing. You weren't worried about it. So when you say that you're not worried about something, that's how we act. Like, oh, okay, she's fine with it. So we didn't think that we needed to just keep on asking you if you were okay, And Ashley said that's because she knows how these girls are. No, Robin is very literal. So when you say shit to Robin, that's what she run with. She don't never think no deeper than what you say. When we asked Giselle, another thing that was confusing to me, well, I guess what Giselle said that she believed Michael's point of view, but she is a little upset about the fact that he keeps on trying to downplay this whole grabbing Andrew's ass and that she didn't see it. I was like, what do you mean? You understand his point of view? I mean, maybe she's saying that he doesn't believe he sexually harassed anybody. Okay. He's never going to admit that he grabbed this man's ass, but maybe he didn't mean it intentionally, sexually. It's a lot different here in the United States than it is in Australia. Let Michael tell it. Everybody is friends out there. Motherfuckers just grabbing asses all willy-nilly. So why can't we do that here in the United States? Okay, because there's sexual harassment laws and you just cannot do those type of things. You've been here long enough to know. You guys, the shit went on and on and on. I was just like, I'm over it. Okay. And then Uncle Jessup had something to say. I said, oh, okay, now what do you have to say, Uncle Jessup?
Well, there was a clip. He was talking to Juan, and he said something about grabbing Uncle Jessup's ass. What was that?
They showed a little part of that. That didn't even make sense to me. I don't know what they were talking about. It was at the wedding when Juan and Michael was talking about something about grabbing a man's ass. But, Uncle Jessup just figured that he was just playing. Michael wanted the people to reach out to him and, the same way that Ashley was going through it, he felt like they should call him. And Giselle was like, you wanted us to call you? Why would we call you? Because we all on this show together, and you would think that. They were like, no, that's, Chris says, well, I did, Monique's Chris. I did reach out to you once. It wasn't about this, but something else happened, and I did reach out, and Giselle was like, yeah, because you're a man. The man reached to the man, Ashley is our sister. And I use that term loosely. All of a sudden, everybody's fucking family around there. Well, Uncle Jessup tells him, well, I didn't call you, Michael. You know why I didn't call you? Because I figured that you did it. And I knew he was just playing around, so I didn't think anything of it. Uncle Jessup has seen you do these things. Everybody knows that you do it. It's sort of just one of those Michaelisms that your ass got called on. And then Uncle Jessup dropped the bomb that, what about the time that you grabbed Andy's ass? Who, Andrew? No. Andy, bravo, Andy. Andy's sitting right here on this stage. Okay, now Andy, while he going back and forth like a ping pong ball between the two of these sides, he ain't never was gonna say nothing about Michael grabbing his ass. But that shit was funny that Uncle Jessup said that, because that right there tells you that one of the fucking producers that was talking about the ass getting grabbed was Andy, who was never gonna say anything. That right there proves to you, if this motherfucker got the balls to grab Andy's ass, whether or not you call it playing or not, do you not think that he would be grabbing any other these smaller producers that we don't know, about? You grabbing the executive producer's ass, and you okay with that. So Michael can miss me with all this, him saying that he don't do this and all of that. Okay, motherfucker, you do it. Okay, you ain't never got called to the carpet on it. Okay, the charges didn't go nowhere or whatever it is, the claims or what, but we got your number. All right. Well, he uses this time to go on and apologize to Ashley. Okay, well, even though I know I didn't do anything wrong and I never said sorry before, I will say now that Ashley's been a stand-up woman. She's had my baby. She's always been there. She's been in my corner, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Well, I guess that was his version, and made all them damn girls up there happy. I still don't know why people just need you to say certain things, especially when it's, what difference does it make? Okay, Ashley seemed to be okay with the way that the two of them handled it. But it was funny to me when Andy, the ass grabbing situation with Andy Bravo, Andy came up, or Andy Cohen. Did you guys see Ashley's face? She looked right down at her dress and just sort of was like, okay, you know good and damn well that your husband does what he does. And that's why the girls are just they're so adamant. Okay, because even if they didn't see it, because of all of the past stories that have been going around, it's very, very clear that he's capable of doing it. And for them, that's good enough. They get him off the stage, says that he's an arrogant, crazy bastard or whatever. Yeah, Michael's always been those things. It didn't just start this season. Okay, actually it gets worse and worse every other season. But, when the men go backstage, they don't even care about this. Monique's Chris comes and says, me and Michael about to go to Ocean Prime and go to the bar. Anybody want to go? Juan's down. All this is just for TV. They just sort of like, we're going and get it for the check and, go on about our business. So that's that shit there. The men are just there to do their jobs. But back on the set, Andy asked them how they all feel now after all of that.
Andy, all I'm saying is respect for our feelings. If we're going to move forward as a family, and we are a family, okay, like it or not, this is a sisterhood on this platform. We are sisters and our husbands should be brothers.
I said, your husbands shouldn't be brothers. They're not technically, they're not really cast members, so they ain't got to like each other at all. But whatever. Karen's whole thing is, you're not going to sit up here and tell me what I don't know, okay, simply because I didn't see it. Like I said, they're going by what people have told them in the past, and that's the reason why, they choosing to believe it. Karen and Ashley get into a really quick, the fight gets so blown up, but you know what? It was Karen's fault. She put her foot in her mouth because she was feeling kind of self-righteous, and I was just like, girl, just leave it alone, okay? But she kept on going, I can step forward, hope that there'll be some correct changes from it, and then I can move on from there. When Ashley tries to tell her that, even with all that you saying, Michael is innocent, and Karen was just like, and the scary part is that you 100% believe that. Okay, I was just like, oh girl, this is you was trying a different angle. And Ashley took that opportunity and said, just like last season when they said that you were messing around with Mr. Blue Eyes. And then Karen said, yes, but that wasn't true. And they were like, Andy and Ashley was like, well, they're saying that this isn't true. And then Karen was just like, listen, I have a right to believe what I believe. I said what I said, and I will stand on it. Karen, you should have just left it alone. Ashley started going on and on about Mr. Blue Eyes and how they was moving around.
Listen, I live in my lifestyle. I had a driver, so what? I had a driver. I believe what I believe. Listen, Ashley, Michael is messing around on you. Everybody knows it.
And then, girl, it got bad. And there's something about Michael sticking his finger on somebody's ass. And I was just like, why did you have to go that gutter? Who was the only one that laughed was Candace, because Candace is gutter like that, so she can appreciate when somebody else lets that shit loose. Andy was just like, okay. Enough of this, okay? Let's get back on track here. So let's talk about the roses and the thorns for, the season. Candace, let's start with you. Okay, Candace's rose, of course, was her wedding and all the girls sharing that. You know, we will have shared that together forever. Okay. Her thorn was the disillusionment of her friendship with Monique. And Monique was like, that was exactly what I was going to say what my thorn was, because I tell Karen all the time, you know, because I looked at you like you were a sister. And I said, uh-oh, is that the broker? I said, girl, you sound like Candy, you know. She was just like, I feel like everything that's happened between us has been sort of like a misunderstanding. And I just feel like we need to talk. I said, girl, you done embodied the spirit of Candy is coming down. And this was like, oh, don't do this. You know, they get up, they hug it out. I guess on the off season, they gonna sit down and talk, and then they gonna be fighting again by next season. What was her rose? Of course, her rose was her rainbow baby, you know, being born safe and sound. Then Robin tells us that her rose was her house being flipped, you know, and everybody being able to see it and believe that she could do it, you know. And then her thorn was, you know, any participation that she had in this situation with Michael and Ashley. Like, she wasn't really trying to. I do believe that Robin was not trying. She kind of see, Robin, if Giselle wasn't around to wrangle her into doing shit, she would be so much more. And I'm hoping that as the seasons go on, she starts to be a little bit more not so fucking pliable, you know, because it's just like, girl, we can mold you into whatever, but you gonna have to stop all that shit, you know. So she says that she felt bad about that, and I actually believed her. Giselle says that her rose was, you know, the fact that she's a better mom now. Okay. And her thorn was, you know, maybe she was a little bit too shady to Ashley. So she apologizes for that, you know. So this shit with Ashley and Michael. And speaking of Ashley, Ashley says, yeah, well, I mean, I know that about you. I know you a shady bitch, but you know, I was just so in my feelings all season that I didn't remember that. She says, so I guess my rose was, of course, me being able to get closer to my husband and conceive the baby. And I guess my thorn is my husband who liked to go around grabbing on asses and then denying it. Okay, isn't that ironic how your husband, you can love him to death and he can get on your fucking nerves all at the same time? Karen's rose, of course, was, you know, the girls being there for her during her grieving process, and then her being able to successfully get her perfume up off the ground. And her thorn was, you know, she didn't have a thorn until just now, you know, when she had to take it gooder with Ashley, because, you know, when we were overseas, where were they, you guys? When she didn't say overseas, where were they? When we were in Grand Cayman, you know, we had already got by this. We had already solved this. So, you know, I hate that we were able to do this now. You know, they have to learn a better way of you know, communicating with each other, because she really does want Ashley to win, as do the rest of the girls. So we try to end it on a nice positive note. Not everybody trying to be at each other's neck. Okay, and so they have beignets, you know, straight from New Orleans, and they leave with a quote from oh God, why didn't I write her name down? You guys know who I'm talking about. Chase, Leah. Can't think of the name. I'll put it on the screen. But one of her famous quotes is, "May every day you look in the mirror and say, I am the prize." Okay, you are the prize, Real Housewives of Potomac. I think you guys had a pretty good season. What y'all thought? All right, rock stars, that's it. Let me get to Power. And then I got to send Jada her damn retainers that she left here. I was like, girl, if you lost them fucking retainers, that's your ass. Okay, but she left them at the house, so I got to go send them. But anyway, let me get off of here. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel's for itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, rock stars. Bye.